Okay, so now we're going to talk about Pythagorean's theorem, and we're going to talk about word problems now. So we're pretty good with just using the theorem. So now let's apply this theorem to some real world situations. So that's what we're going to do in this lesson. We already know these vocab words, so you can just copy them from the other night. Let's go ahead and label the triangle again, and I'm going to draw my right triangle. Hold on. Let's see. How do I want to draw it? I'm going to draw my right triangle this way this time. All right, so first thing I'm going to identify is the hypotenuse. I'm going to draw an arrow from the right angle and call this the hypotenuse. And then the other two sides I'm going to call legs. So this is C, and you can call this A and B. Or you can do A and B. Just make sure you always get C right. C is always the hypotenuse. That's very, very important. If you put that side on the wrong side, then you know you got some issues. And let's go and work through the problems. It says Olivia walked 3 kilometers west and 4 kilometers south. Calculate how far she is from her starting point. So we have a word problem, and the first thing I'm going to do is underline the question. It is telling me, and I'm going to write what I'm being asked. She's how far from her starting point. Oops, how far from her start. Okay, that's what I need to find out. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go and draw a picture from what they gave me. It says Olivia walked 3 kilometers west and 4 kilometers south. So I'm going to start drawing a picture. And this is north. This is how I remember. Never eat shredded wheat. This is how I do it to remember it. Okay? So I'm going to draw a picture. It says she walks west. So I'm going to say this is her start point. And she walks. So Olivia's going to walk this way. And then that's going to be 3 kilometers. And then it says, and she walks down south 4 kilometers. Okay? So it says, calculate how far is she from her starting point. Well, if she's right here now, so it wants to know how far is she from the starting point. So that would be the hypotenuse right here. So this would be my right angle. That corner makes that right angle. So I'm going to go ahead and call this my HYP. And I'm going to call this a leg and a leg. And this is the C. And I'm going to call this A and this B. And remember, A and B doesn't matter which one you call them. Just make sure you get C right. So it's asking me to find C. So I'm going to go here and say, well, this is a right triangle, and I can use Pythagorean's theorem to find the distance between where Olivia is at and where Olivia started. So A squared, B squared equals C squared. So we get 3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. So I get 9 plus 16 equals C squared. So I get 25 equals C squared. And you know what? Let me start this over. Because I'm going to start over at this point. Because there's something we do. Alright, so if you notice, we normally do the line method. My constants are on the wrong side, so I'm going to go ahead and move them. Use the symmetric property of equality to move them to the other side. So C squared equals 9 plus 16. So C squared equals 25. So I'm going to take the square root, and I get C equals 20. I mean, not 25, but C equals 5. And you can use your calculator if you don't know those square roots off the top of your head. So let me show you. Square root 25. Oops. Try again. 25, and we get 5. Okay, but that's one of those square roots you should know. So that means I would say Olivia is 5 kilometers from her starting point. Now I want to make sure I'm right, make sure I have the right answer. So here's how I'm going to check to make sure I have the right answer. I'm going to say, does 3 squared plus 4 squared equal 5 squared? So this is how I'm going to check. So I get 9 plus 16 equals 25. And then I say 25 equals 25. And there we go. That's right there. Okay, so we are done with that problem. So remember, you underline the question first and then go pick out what's important. Read it sentence by sentence, pick out what's important, draw your picture, and then you go from there. Start setting up your picture and your plan, and you solve the problem. And you guys try this one, and if you have any questions, bring them to class with you, or I can see you at tutoring. Bye, guys.